Welcome everyone to the Kinky Hair Culture Podcast, where we interview the people behind the chair and the people that makes your natural hair products. But today we have someone special. You know, I'm always talking about mindset. And today Miss Shareka is going to teach us about mindset. Hey, Miss Shareka, how you doing today?
Hey, Candice, I am doing awesome. Super thrilled to be here with you today.
Please introduce yourself to everyone around the world.
All right, so my name is Shareka Swaby, also known as the Mind Reset Strategist. I am Jamaican, still living in Jamaica. I am a life coach and mentor. I just published my first book. I'm a speaker in training and becoming a podcaster and looking into starting a product-based business as well. So I'm doing a bunch of things. I'm just letting spirit guide me where to go.
I understand. I see that you're natural.
Yes, I am.
Look, I want to talk a little about that. How was your journey?
It's been interesting. It's been quite interesting. So I've always had natural hair for the most part. I think when I was going in third form, my mom processed my hair. And then by the time I was in fifth form, when I was graduating, I had natural hair again. And I've had natural hair since then. It's had its ups and downs. This is the shortest it's been because up until just about a little bit over a year ago, I was wearing a tapered cut. So I had cut it down because I had kids, and then the front when you have kids. For me, when I have two kids, and both times I lost the edges of my hair, and then the rest of it started breaking. So I was working on it. It was long like yours, and then it was just a mess. So I cut it off, and then I braid, and sometimes I put earpiece in there. But for the most part, I've been natural basically my whole life. Probably processed my hair for 2 years of my life, but outside of that, it's natural.
I see that you have one boy and one girl. Do you promote natural hair with them, or do you just like let them be their own person?
My daughter has natural hair. Her texture is almost like yours. Mine is a 4C, so it's a lot more work. But her texture is like yours. She loves her hair, and it's natural. I promote natural. She loves the natural hair look as well. So we do natural hair. I don't know. I love my natural hair. I've thought about processing it, and then I thought, but then I'm gonna have to grow it back out and stuff.
Yeah, look, the whole journey over. You don't want to do that, the transition in or the big chop. No. Look, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay.
I won't.
So you're a life coach, a mentor, a speaker, and an author. Can you please let everybody know how to reset our mind? Because that's one of the biggest issues that we have, whether we're talking about financially, whether we're talking about a hair, body, soul. It's hard, okay? I'm one of the people that will say it's hard, okay? Because we be on this journey and we be like, yeah, we can do it. And the next thing you know, self-doubt kicks in. So help us.
So I am on this path because I wanted to find out what was going on with me as well, right? Because for the most part, I am, what is my age? I think I'm 36.
Look, that's all right. You look good too. You look good.
Thank you. And for the most part of my life, it just wasn't panning out, right? I have big dreams, and I had big dreams then too, but I couldn't seem to quite put it together, right? So a couple of years ago, I started to really think about that. And so it brought me on this journey where I started reading books and listening to speakers and journaling and come up with a morning routine and so on. And then as I dived into the material, book after book after book, it occurred to me that our fundamental problem, like every single issue that we have, is a mindset issue. There is no problem that we have that's not a mindset issue. And even some of the times when we get sick, it's a mindset issue, right? So when you want to look at resetting the mind now, you first have to assess, where are you? Where are you mentally? Where is your headspace? What's your thought process? Um, do you feel like people are out to get you, right? Do you feel like it's hard? Do you feel unworthy? I think that unworthy, that's worthiness is something that a lot of us struggle with. We feel
Yes.
like we don't belong in that space, or this thing is not for us, or that's for rich people, or stuff like that. That's how a lot of us think when we are supposed to go out there and do anything at all, right? And then there's another issue where we don't love ourselves, and a lot of people don't even understand. I didn't understand what that actually meant, because I was happy sad for a long time, right? Because me on the inside, I was suffering because I was showing up for everybody else, but I was never showing up for myself. And but in doing so, I was stifling. That person inside was stifling. So people don't love themselves. People don't think they're worthy. They have the desire because it's innate, right? It's not something that we have to go out and look for. It's there. It's our nature to want to become something more. But then we have this feeling like we don't belong in a certain place, right? So we don't feel like we're worth it. We don't feel like, because we've had so many generations of people stuck in a certain way of living. So we've now accepted that as who we are, not knowing that we can break that cycle. We can become anything that we want to be. We can do anything that we want to do. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, what you've done in the past, what your qualifications are, anything at all that you, if you get up this tomorrow morning and you decide that you're going to be a scientist, you can do that. And it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what your background is. If that's what you desire to be, you can become that. But first, you got to identify what's stopping me. When that idea comes up, when that desire comes up, what is my mind saying? Right? What is my mind saying? And then in my book, I talk about, this book is designed.
Before we go to that book, real quick, okay, I do got something I would like to say, because I am glad that you said what you said earlier. The problem is that in the world that we live in, especially growing up, okay, our parents tell us, try to tell us the right things to do, okay? But in our mind, we see other people and other kids, and the first thing we think like, oh, I want to be like them. How their family living, or how this person was able to grow big and strong and be able to make it. Look at me, I can't do it. And then the thing about it is we still do it as children. I mean, not children, as adults. We go from children to adults and still have that mindset, and then we put it on to our children. So I'm glad that you explained to us, no, it's still hope. Don't think like that. Keep going.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny because what our parents are doing is they're trying to protect us, right? They're trying to protect us because they've probably tried and they've failed, and maybe they didn't have the will or the strength to keep going, right? So they're saying, okay, it doesn't make any sense you try to do that, because that's just not for people like us. Stick to what we know over here, right? So it's like there's some kind of entitlement to being successful when there isn't. It's for all of us, right?
Yes.
It's for every single one of us. Every single one of us can go out there and create the life. So our parents were trying to protect us, and then they gave us that protective mindset. So in our heads, whenever something comes up that can make us grand and amazing, our minds does the same thing that the parents used to do, right? It say, oh, that's not for you. That's the talk. But
yeah, or I had the mindset of, well, my mama used to do it, or my daddy did it, so I guess this is how it's supposed to be. And that's how some people still think, oh, my daddy did it, or my mama did it, so I guess that's how I can't go past it. I can't be wealthy, or I can't play certain type of sports, or I can't do this, I can't do that, because my mom, my daddy, or my siblings didn't do it, so there's no hope for me.
Right, exactly. And as I said, whenever anything And I started doing this a couple of months ago.
Mhm.
Whenever I'm going to do something, I attempt to do something and I try to do something, and my heart beats too over fast. That's
That's
exactly
me.
what I have to do that thing. Once my heart starts beating, because that's the fear mixed with the excitement and the anxiety. And
Yes.
if you follow that feeling, you're not gonna do it. So whenever something I need to take on something new and different, and my heart goes on pounding, 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 and you
Mhm.
start feeling afraid and you start getting anxious, that's exactly the thing that I know that I'm supposed to do. Because now I know, okay, this is something, this is an obstacle that I need to overcome. It's a growth point. It's a
Thank you.
growth
I needed
point.
that. I needed that. I did. I needed that because my heart be pounding. I be sweating. I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. And my husband was looking at me like, calm down, Candace. It's okay. You got this. But then once I start doing this light work, like, yes, I can do this. But at that moment, it's like, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then once you do it, you be like, I did all that for this.
Yeah,
This ain't nothing.
exactly. And a lot of people back away because of that feeling, right? A lot of people back away, but it's just another level. It's something else that you need to overcome. It's
Mhm.
something that your mind is saying, okay, this is new. And then what we have to understand too is that the feeling that we get when we are excited, the emotions that we get when we're excited and when we are fearful, it's the same thing. The difference is our interpretation of that, of how we of that. So if you get excited, right, you get excited and your heart might pound and so on, but if you just calm down and say, okay, I'm gonna do this, relax into it, you'll overcome that, and then you know that you are capable. And then you know, if you fell down anywhere, you know, okay, I need to brush up right here, I need to brush up right here, but I can do this, right?
Mhm.
And then that's over and done. It's just another thing that now you need to take on, but right there, that is over and done, and you don't have to focus on it anymore. So whenever something comes up and your heart goes boom 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 boom, and you start to shake and sweat, calm yourself down and just know that this is something that you should do. If it's not something jumping off a bridge or something that's gonna harm you, something that's gonna help you grow, get right in there and do that thing, because it's just another obstacle, it's just another hurdle that you need to come to overcome. One thing else I want to say too, as far as capability goes and feeling like you're not able to, start with micro steps, right? And when you if every day you go and you do something and you get 1% better, right? 1% better. By the end of the year, you're 365% better than you started out,
Yes.
right?
Right.
But what a lot of us do is we attempt to get it all at the same time. But we can't do it like that, right? So take micro steps. For example, I started my YouTube channel a hot mess, right? No stand for for my phone, the script on a piece of paper in my hand, and that was the first video. But I didn't stop, right? I kept going and I kept improving and I kept improving, and I learned to put on my makeup and I learned to fix my hair properly, and now I have a microphone and I have a stand for my thing and I have a light. So start small, especially when it's a new territory and you're afraid and you don't feel like it's for you. Start small, and with every step you get more confident, and you start to realize that, yeah, I can do this. And the funny thing about the mind is, once the mind sees that, okay, this is the path we're going on, it's gonna start backing you up. It's gonna start backing you up. So you have to overcome your mind, right? Once it sees, you have to be determined. You have to stick to it. And once your mind sees that, because it's gonna fight,
Yes, it will. Yes.
it's going to fight to protect you, because that's what it's there for. And it feels like you're putting yourself in danger, especially if that fear feeling comes up, right? So once it sees that, okay, we're safe doing this and this is the direction we're going, then its idea is going to start to pop, because it's ready now to back you up. it's ready now to back you up. So you just have to stick to it and know that you're worthy. You are worthy.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to talk about your book, Introduction to Freedom. Let's talk about that
Right.
book.
Okay, so this is it, an introduction to freedom. Your life is only your perception. So this book is a funny story, right? I went to a speaking workshop and they were talking about ways in which you can monetize whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
So before that, I had read a book called by Bob Berg and I forgot the gentleman's name, but he's actually the guest on my Instagram show this Thursday, the author of that book. The book is called The Go-Giver, right? It's a part of a series. And I read that book and it talks about the 5 stratospheric laws of success. Law 1 is talking about adding value. So when I finished reading the book, I lay down on my bed, on my back, my legs were on the floor, and I started to think, what can I do that's gonna add a lot of value to other people, right? So I came up with what was called a happiness challenge. It was designed to get people out of their own way and get them feeling good no matter where they are in their life, whether you're rich, poor, having a bad situation at the moment. It was that designed for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a free challenge. I came up with it. I gave it away for free. A couple of people did it. Not a lot of people did it. But then after that, I went to this speaking workshop, and the presenter was talking about monetizing. And I said, okay, I can put the challenge as an ebook, but the intention was to give it away as a free ebook. But then as I put the days in there, every time I went back to check it, I started adding more things. And then I put in some stories in there to add context and so on. And so it became a book. It's not a big book. It's a really easy read. But, and so the book was born. And the idea is really to get people to sit down with themselves and just focus on them, not on the physical then. Well, there is some stuff about your physique and your looks, but essentially it's to get people to look inside. It talks about forgiveness and gratitude, self-awareness, and so on. It's 30 days of journaling. And then I advise people to, once they go through the 30 days, go back through it another 30 days and make the practice a regular thing. And in doing so, you will come up with a method of spending time with yourself, because we are spiritual beings, right?
Yes.
But we are disconnected from our source as a spiritual being. And so we are all caught up in this physical space where our focus is just on what's happening around us and how we feel and just that. So we're disconnected from spirit. So this is designed to help people reconnect with source, with God, right? And then once you do that, you become inspired, right? And with practice, you start to realize how worthy you are. With practice, you realize how connected you are. With practice, you realize how much you and I are the same. We're just in different bodies and different features, but we come from the same thing. We're made of the same thing. We just have to think differently, really, right? So it has a lot of potential if people purchase this book and really sit down and go through the process on a daily basis. If you come out with no result, then I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. But
if they don't come out with any results, it's because they didn't try. Okay.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, anything that you put your mind to, you can't succeed.
Yeah.
You might have a fall. Sometimes, not everything is going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be some ups and downs stuff, but keep going. Because if you keep going, it's going to, trust me, you're going to get it. Because trust me, with me, I'm going to speak on myself. speaking in front of people and everything, I could always say, hey, how you do? I'm just the most bubbliest person in the world. But sitting down and actually having a one-on-one conversation with people, it's like I freak out. My mind be like, oh my God, can it stop? No, stop. Did you say that right? Oh my God, playing it like 50,000 times. Like, what did I say? No, I didn't pronounce that right and stuff. But then I realized that, I'm getting better at it. I noticed that I'm getting better at it. And not only that is that I'm actually seeing that people make mistakes. There's no one perfect. Like when I do interviews and people have their children in the background or whatever it may be, I'll be like, it's fine. If the listeners don't want to listen because they hear your child in the background, then they either not a parent or they just don't care. And then that's not right. You know what I'm saying? So I just tell everybody to be authentic. Be yourself, okay? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing that's going to be perfect, okay? There's famous people out here that strive to do so much, and then they keep going, and boom, they got a masterpiece. Because I haven't seen nobody just woke up with a masterpiece. Because if they did, I need to buy their book right now, right now. But what advice do you give someone that's just starting off, that's going to purchase your book? Have it sitting on the counter, because there's 1,001 people that does this all the time. They have it sitting on the counter and I'm going to get to it. But they stressed. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know how to start. They're afraid to open that book and start jotting down their thoughts and reading and stuff. What advice do you give someone to start off?
I would say, first thing I would say is, if you have to start right now, right this minute. Because guess what? If you don't, you'll always be putting it off. And then one morning you wake up, you are 75 and you haven't done anything because you're always putting it off. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. But the next thing is, this is less of a reading book and more of a doing book. So it's not something that you're going to sit down and read for 5-6 hours. It's definitely not that. It's not something that you're going to sit down and read for 2 hours on any given day either. Because a lot of people don't read because it's going to take so much time and they think they don't have. The longest part of the book to read is the introduction and the background information. And I placed that in there so that people can get an idea of who I am and where I'm coming from, so that they can kind of see that it's possible for anybody to move out of any situation and start to build something for themselves and make something of themselves. So that's there for context, right? But after that, it's down to a little bit of reading per day. So let me show you. So this is day one. Right here to right here is day one. Up here is just to say why you should do gratitude, because week one is gratitude, right? But this is just why you should do gratitude. And then this is day one. This is day two. And that's all you have to read for each day. Day one, day two.
That's very simple.
This is day three, and this is day four. So what you need a journal. Get a journal or a book that you can write in. And after you get that, you need to structure some time for yourself in the mornings, whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes. If you have to wake up earlier, getting up earlier, coming from me, I used to get up early only when my kids were going to school. That's it. Outside of that, when the sun is hot and burning, that's when I wake up, okay? And since I started this journey, I have been up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now I'm up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. But when I started out, even during COVID, I was up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning so I could do my workout. Because I worked out so hard during COVID, it's not even funny, right? So I got up early. And
you wasn't tired? You wasn't exhausted and overwhelmed?
Oh, I was. On many days after the workout, I fell asleep. I was falling asleep at my work desk because I was working from home, and I was falling asleep at work. But I wanted the results that I wanted, right? And if you want the results that you want, you have to do the work. Even if you're falling asleep, you have to do the work, right? And I know people are going to say, oh, I'm tired. Because there were weeks when I was getting by on 4 hours of sleep maximum, right? But guess what? When you're tired, your body's going to say, girl, you're tired. And some mornings you're just not going to be able to get up, and that's fine. But get up the next morning, right? Get up the next morning, because you know what you want. How bad do you want it?
Yes. You're right.
How bad do you want it? Because I have 2 kids. One of my eldest child swims, and swimming, if there are any swim parents listening to this podcast, they know that swimming is a crazy sport for kids, right? It's a lot of training. So she's up like 5:30 in the morning, she's at training, and then in the afternoon she's at training, and she's doing this like 4 or 5 times per week. And as the mother, you have to get up, prepare the food, and all the rest of the stuff. So you need, so it's not like I have a luxury of a lot of time, but it's important to me that I get up early and get my head right before I say hello to the rest of the world, before I even say hello to the kids, right?
Yes.
Because getting my mind right has allowed me to write this book, right? It's allowed me to have a live show on Instagram that I'm going to turn into a podcast. It's allowed me to have a YouTube channel. It's allowed me to have ideas on different products and services that I want to offer and build my business. It's allowed me to be able to talk to you here. This is something that I never would have done years ago. I'm not the person who smiles on photographs, much less to be in a video. So it's allowed me to completely transform my life.
And that's because of your mindset.
That's because of my mindset. Because when I get up in the mornings, that's what I work on, right? I do my exercise, I do my journaling, I do my reading, I do my meditation. And over time, you build, you become a better person, you open up to the possibilities. So you're gonna be tired some days. I've been sitting in my sofa some mornings reading and I fell asleep, and that's okay. I get up the next morning and I do it again, because it matters. And remember now, if you say you're 30 years old and you are born poor, right? Mm-hmm. You grew up in a poor community. And I'm speaking from experience here. If you were born poor and you grew up in a poor community, I guarantee you have a crappy mindset, unless you were privy to someone who was able to introduce you to something different. Mm-hmm. If not, you have a crappy mindset, guaranteed. Now, if you want to do anything with your life, if you want to achieve anything, if you want to become anybody, right, you have to flip your mind completely 360, because it has crap about money, it has crap about possibilities, it has crap about other people, it has crap about what people do to get where they want to get to. It has crap, right? Because poor people were taught certain things about rich people or about successful people, and that has been passed down from one generation to the next, and it will keep perpetuating until we change that, right? So If that's how you are grown, you have a crappy mindset. If you allow it, it's going to dominate your entire life, and you will pass off from this world, and no one will ever get to see the gift that you came here to share. And that's a fact.
Ooh. Dang, that was powerful right there. That little ending right there. Yes, because, man, I'm just lost for words, because at the end of the day, our mind, if we don't get our mind right, you are so right. People will not know who we are. It's like we be hiding so much good things about ourselves. It's like, but we afraid because we so used to the things out there. Like, we'll spend money on things that shouldn't be spend money on. What you buying this stuff for? Invest in something, or move it this way. Teach your children how to do all this stuff. But no, it's okay. I want to live in the moment. They don't live in the future, or they're afraid to go out and do things because they worry about how they look, or what people want to say about them, or if they're not saying things right. It's just crazy. But I'm glad that you said that, because that was just so powerful right there. It was just like, wow, mind opening.
Someone, have you ever met someone and you say, oh my gosh, she's so talented, she sings so well, she dances so well, but when you walk up to her or him and you say, or they paint very well, you walk up to them and you say, oh my gosh, you are so good at that, you should be doing something with that. They go, oh no, not me, that's not for me, this is just something I do for fun. It's your gift, it's your talent, it's the thing that you came here to entertain the rest of us with, and you're wasting that. You're gonna die tomorrow or 20 years from now, and we're not gonna get to experience that, and that's robbery. You're stealing from us, right?
You're actually helping someone. When you're thinking that you're not helping somebody, you actually are helping someone. When you put out your gift out there, you're inspiring people, because people don't know your backstory. Like you said, sometimes people could be rich, some people could be poor, some people could be struggling with, it could be weight loss, it could be anything, you know what I'm saying, or speech, or something going on with their mind. And if they have the opportunity to talk about it and all that stuff, it's like, wow, you just saved someone else's life. So it's all about that mindset. I want to talk about your 2022 goal setting workshop. Let's get into that.
Okay, so I've done that twice, I think, or was it once? Anyways, so I wanted to help people to set goals from a value-based place. So when I say value-based, I mean, we see it all the time in society, right? People have big grand goals and they succeed, but then they neglected their family to do it, or they neglected their health to do it. So at the end of the day, they made all this money, but they have to spend it on hospital bills, or they had to, their family is dismantled, or their kids don't talk to them because they never spent any time with the kids, or something like that. So the workshop wasn't just setting goals, it was talking about values, right? What's important to you? What do you want to create? Is your family important? Is your health important? It was designed to help people to identify, okay, these are the areas in your life. You have a spiritual life, you have a home and family life, you have your fitness and your health, you have your work life, you have career. These are your categories, right? Now you need to be paying attention to all of these, so that when you reach success, you still have your family to share that with. You are in good health. You don't have to be walking around with an inhaler or something because you can't breathe because of something that you weren't doing to take care of yourself, right? And you're in alignment with spirit. You're in alignment with God. You are in connection with your source. And when that happens, you're always inspired, right? So now you have made yourself into a whole human being. So you're not just some money crazy person, or it's not a case where you say, okay, my family is the most important thing, and you spend all your time on your family, but you still can't feed your family, right? So there has to be some kind of balance. And I believe this is a belief that I have, and I'm working towards it for myself. I believe that we can all have good lives with good family and money to take care of our good families, and the ability to travel places and see beautiful things and be happy.
That's all ties into your mindset and your goals. Once you get your mindset right, then start laying out all the goals that you need. So this is what this workshop brings, right?
Yeah, that's what the workshop was about. I want to do a third one, but my email system got messed up, so I'm working that out. Hopefully, I want to do it before the end of the first quarter of the year. Not the first quarter, is that quarter? First, third, it's four quarters. Okay, first quarter.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what that was about. So it was just helping people to realize that you can create balance, right? You don't have to get up, rush off to work, and you don't spend time with God. You don't even sit for a minute and say, okay, God, this is me. Thank you this morning. I am here. I'm grateful. You don't do any of that. You get up out of bed, you jump in the shower, you make breakfast, you're out of the house. nothing to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. It doesn't have to be like that.
You're right, because that's what most people do. Exactly what most people do. And we also just want to thank God for things that He has done for us. Besides the things that He did not say, you know what, today you said you wanted I'm just throwing out there a cookie. Well, I didn't bless you with that cookie today, so you gotta thank God for stuff like that, because He might have just saved your life. You might not need that cookie. You know what I'm saying? That might be the last cookie that you ate. You see what I'm saying? But people don't take time out to say, God, I thank you for the things that you have done for me, the things that you told me no, and the things that's on the, on my path, my future path. I just thank you for everything that's going from my past, because even though the things that had happened to us in our past, it was a lesson. Because most people, they be like, you know what, God just like, just gave up on me. He let all this happen to me. He let people mistreat me. He let all this stuff. No, it was a lesson. So when you take it to you in your future with you, so you won't make the same mistakes, learn from them, grow from them, teach other people not to do this in the past. I learned all that from my husband. Though he be preaching to me all the time, and I've been like, I've been looking at him like, he said, well, Candace, here's a story. He was just going, and I was just like, wow, for real? And then just taking up this orb. And I know he'd be thinking like, she's not paying no attention. No, I actually be paying attention to you. It's just stuff that he said be so powerful and stuff. But again, it's because his mindset is one way, and he teaching me how to get my mindset another. And it's just like, it's just explosive. But back to talking to you, because I'll start talking about all God and all this other stuff, and I just so let me look.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because that's also in my book about the lessons that the negative, so-called negative experiences brings us. And I just want to say one thing: it's important that we forgive other people in those experiences. It's important that we forgive ourselves more than anything else, because some of us, we say, oh, you're fine, you're forgiven, but we beat up ourselves every single day. So it's important that we forgive ourselves. It's important that we forgive the whole situation, so that we can receive the blessing from that situation. So I just wanted to say that.
You're right about that, because we really do say, oh, I forgive you, but then we never forgive ourselves. And when forgiving yourself, you gotta forgive that you made that, mistake that you made, and it's okay. Learn from it, grow from it, okay? And then forgive the person that whatever they done to you, forgive them too. Because if you don't, you get into that bitter state. It could be 20, 30 years from now, you see that person, you be like, oh, I remember when you stop talking to me, come bring it up, stop talking to me. Instead of like, hey, how you doing? Embracing them, loving them, because it is what it is. Okay, like I always was told, keep living and don't die, because things is gonna happen. You gotta keep that mindset. That's why, girl, I'm so glad you're here. Look, I'm so glad. Look, I'm enjoying this.
I'm happy to be here too.
I'm enjoying this moment with you. I sure appreciate you for this. You have on there a free tool, and it's forgiveness tool. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so that tool, that's a part of the book as well. It's just that in the book, I kind of break it down a little bit more. Okay, so I was just talking about forgiveness with you. So we go through life, right? And things happen to us, right? And we move from one situation to the next without allowing ourselves to let go of what had happened in the past. Right? So let me use a general, simple example. You went to the store and the cashier was rude. Whatever happened, it turned into something that it didn't really have to turn into, but it turned into that. Maybe you were disrespected, right? And you're feeling some kind of way about it. And next week, 2 weeks later, you're still telling your friend about it, and you now you're even more enraged than you were when it just happened. Now, when you trigger those emotions, it's like you're dropping little tidbits of poison in your body every time. And this is how a lot of people get sick. Have you ever met somebody and they're just so bitter?
Yeah. Ooh.
They're just
Preach.
so bitter.
Yes.
Yeah, because they have not let anything at all go. Like they've been angry since they were a kid. angry at their parents, angry at the friends, angry at the neighbors, angry at the bullies, and then they move over to their adult life, and they're just really, really sour to be around. They haven't let anything go. They're still harboring that in their system. So everything is a pain point. If you poke them anywhere on their body, it brings up something, because they have all of this in them. They haven't let anything go. Their father maybe abused them, and this is not something good here, but we have to let it all go. We have to let it all go. And it's healing. Forgiveness is healing. And now the research has shown that people who are harboring these resentment and things, it makes us sick. It literally poisons our bodies, right? So in the forgiveness tool, which is also in the book, I give people 7 days of things to forgive. 7 days of things to forgive. Today you're forgiving the friends and the friends, and tomorrow is the family, and the next day it's maybe your teachers or your government or whomever. But no matter how small it is, and no matter how big we think it is, we have to let it go. Because at the end of the day, it's not for you. It's not you're the one forgiving, but it's not for the person who hurts you, right? Sometimes the people who we think hurt us don't even know that they hurt us. Because guess what? They were operating on their level, with their level of consciousness, right? They have no clue that they caused us any harm. But we're over here angry, bitter, upset. That person moved on and having a wonderful life, laughing and going their business and doing their thing. But you're hurting. And the thing about when we do that is, for example, you had a bad experience, right? Every single time you remember it, it gets worse, because no, the mind doesn't know the difference between a real experience and an imagined or remembered experience, right? It doesn't know. Everything is the same thing for it, right? So now imagine that you and your friend had a quarrel, or your friend did something really bad to you, right? And it happened 3 years ago. And every week, at the end of the week, maybe on a Saturday, or every time you pass the place that it happened, you remember it, right? And each of those times, the emotion comes up again. What will happen is, because every time it comes up, you're going to focus on it. You're going to give it attention. You're going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to expand. It's going to become something bigger than it was initially. Right? So, and now you're starting to, the resentment gets larger. You get more angry every time. And now you are stuck here with this situation. You can't grow. And then this kind of energy cuts your connection with God. It cuts your connection with God. So now there's no inspiration for you, because you're so bitter and you're so angry about the situation. You're not letting any lights into your heart. So forgiveness is super, super powerful. So I say, no matter how small it is, no matter how big you think it is, because sometimes it's not even as big as it is. And then more than anything else, every experience is designed to teach you something.
Yes.
So if you can just take a moment to just let go of the pain, you see the lesson. And then you go from forgiveness to gratitude, because there's no way you can learn a lesson and not be grateful for that lesson, right? Because you're gonna learn how to love yourself, or how to not allow people to treat you, or how to stand. You're gonna learn something, right? So you go from forgiveness to being grateful. What's better than that? Nothing is better than that.
Girl, you over here preaching. Look, and I thank you so much for that, because, especially with me, I'm so much of a person that will give you whatever you need, try to be there for you. And in return, whenever I'm down, or if I need a phone call or whatever, maybe it could be anything, I expect you to, do the same for me. And then I get in my feelings when that person doesn't do the same. I'll be like, but I've been with you all these years. This one time I'm crying over, it could be anything, a tree. My tree done fell and I start crying and I want you to be there for me. Why are you not there for me? But then I had to realize is like you said earlier, people don't know that you did them wrong. You over here upset when the whole entire time they thinking like, why is she tripping? I thought I was being the best person I could be. Instead of sitting down having that conversation with them and letting them know. But that's all go back to your mindset. It's like, wow, girl, you over here preaching, you just got me thinking, and it's like, girl, this she talking to you. Candace, she's talking to you right now. So I appreciate it. Look, I thank you. Because you done opened my eyes to so many things. I thought I was going on the right path, but actually I wasn't. There's some things that I still need to work on, and you're helping me. So I really appreciate it.
I'm grateful.
And
thank you.
I would like to say this to the audience. If any of these episodes add value to you, please share with at least 3 people. Miss Shareka will have it on her podcast too as well. So if you miss anything, if you want to go back, whatever it may be, look, we got the information for you to clear your mindset, okay? Because at the end of the day, we always talk about healthy hair, we talk about your body, but all that starts with your mindset. And if your mind is not right, you would not be able to see to things that you need to do, okay? So again, if this video or any other previous videos add value, please let us know. Is there anything that you want to leave us with?
Oh yeah, I want to leave you with something. It's about what you said earlier. You said people would not do the same to you, and you get up all in yourself and stuff. So have no expectations when you do things for other people, because I'm a mindset coach, but I also do energy and spirituality. And here's the thing, right? When you have expectations, you will get disappointed, because people don't know what your expectations are.
Yeah.
Do they? They don't. They don't know.
That's something I'm learning. That's what I'm learning that too.
Yeah, people don't know what your expectations are. So when you go into a situation with expectations, expecting that someone's going to do unto you as it's possible that they even have something that they have to do too that's probably important to them, and they don't have the time to pay attention to what's going on in your world. So don't have any expectation, and understand that people are people.
Mm-hmm.
We have flaws, right? None of us are perfect, right? And just learn to see yourself in others. And when I say that, I mean every single person in and around us is meant to teach us something.
Yes.
They're meant to teach us something. And that's why people come and go, because after they've done what they're supposed to do in your life, it's time for them to move on, right? So they come and go, right? So they're supposed to teach you something. 1, 2, a lot of times people are reflecting to us what we need to see in ourselves. So for example, we're friends and we go out, or maybe we're not friends, we're just associates, we know each other from the same community or something, and every time you see me or I see you, you get triggered for some reason. It has nothing to do with me. You getting triggered has nothing to do with me. It has to do with you. So find out for you, what is it about me that triggers you, and why is that happening, right? It has nothing to do with me, because I'm over here, I'm a one person. I'm not supposed to have the ability to make you upset. I'm not supposed to have the ability to hurt you. That's not what we've been taught, right? But truly, we are supposed to be able to maintain and manage our own emotional space, right? So I'm not supposed to be able, and this happens a lot, especially when we're in relationships with partners. And this is something that I've learned over the years, right? Because I was in such a dependent relationship, with me being the dependent person, right? I depended on him to give me joy, to make me feel safe, to make me feel happy, to make me feel everything, right? But at the end of the day, I am in charge of my space, right?
Yes.
So you're not supposed to be able to say something to me and it disturbs me. But if it does, use it as a tool to find out, why am I disturbed? Why am I disturbed? Because there's a reason for your disturbance. And the reason is not the other person.
Yeah.
That's where we go wrong, right?
It'd be actually you in your mind. So look, everything goes back to your mindset. Okay. Yep. Well, I enjoy you and I appreciate you. I will leave all your links at the end of this podcast. Also on my YouTube channel, so that way they can be able to click, go straight to you. Any questions they have. Well, let me say this. If they have any questions, will they be able to contact you with no problem?
No problems at all. They can reach out to me on Facebook or on Instagram, or they can leave a comment on my YouTube channel if that's where they find me. Wherever, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on even Snapchat and TikTok. I'm all over the place because I'm on a mission, right? So I want to be available for people. I want people to get the message. So I'm all over the place. So anyone can reach out.
And where can they get that book?
Okay, so the book is available on Amazon.
Okay.
So just go to Amazon, type up An Introduction to Freedom. It's also, if you go to my Instagram, it's at Align with Shareka. And if you go there and click on my link tree, it's up there as well. So they shouldn't have any problem. But if you do have a problem, just send me a message or something and I'll get you the link.
Okay, before I let you go, we always play a game. Which one has to go, okay? And this is a hair one, okay?
All right.
Hair grease, growth oil, hair cream. Which one has to go? Why?
Because
it's like a moisturizer. It can be just anything that to moisturize your hair with. So like if people use like pink lotion or something like
that. Can I change?
Yeah.
I'll take away the hair grease.
Right? Why?
Because the growth oil I can put on my scalp and all of that stuff, and my hair, I have 4C hair and it gets super dry, right? And when it's moist, it's easier to manage. I have to wet it up, comb it and stuff like that, right? So the cream, whatever, will help to retain that moisture, and the growth oil will help to lock that in. But the grease, I've gone without the hair grease before, so I know I can do without that. So that would be the one that goes.
Well, I thank you so much for being on this episode. I know you have a busy schedule, so I really appreciate you. Thank you, each and every one of y'all, for listening to the Kinky Hair Culture Podcast. And again, this episode will also be on Shareka's podcast, and I will have her YouTube and everything and her podcast listed as well. So either way it goes, you can see it on both, okay? So God bless, and thank you for each and every one of y'all tuning in. And this is season 4, episode 3.